Hello and welcome my dear students. I am Rohan sir, as you all know me very well from Mahdi English Medium School. I welcome you all my dear 3rd standard students in today's science lecture. My dear students, I hope you enjoyed the short vacation of Muharram and I hope that in this time you have taken care of yourselves. Also you have even followed the videos whenever and however it is given. At the same time, I also hope that those who had some work left, they have finished that work in this time span. Now my dear students, as you know that before this short holiday, I have started with a new chapter in our science, that is chapter number 6. And I hope that you have written down the objectives which I have given you for that chapter number 6. Now, like I said that though I have explained 2 pages of it, but I thought that first it is very much mandatory for you to be familiar with the hard words and familiar with the objectives, so that when I resume the lecture you will be able to understand the lesson more precisely. So, let us get started with our chapter. Let us just continue. Now, before continuing that, I hope that you all are sitting with your textbook as well as your rough book. Now, I always ask you to sit with your rough book and textbook, because at any point of the time while you are reading from your textbooks, I may even ask you to write down few points which are very much important for you to understand on the spot. So, I hope that now you are sitting with your rough book as well as your textbook, and also I hope that you have done all the work properly, whatever is given, whether it is a written or reading work. So, students, like I said that we were doing chapter number 6, we have just started with it. Now, again I will just give the glimpse of what we have done and how much we have done in this chapter. Now, you know that the chapter, the heading, the name of the chapter is living and non-living things. Now, we first of all, while starting this lecture of chapter 6, we had solved all this puzzle, all this warm up exercise, as you all know this. Now, in this we had to just recognize what is living and what is non-living. So, we have done this successfully. Then what else have we done? Then we moved on towards the various aspects. First of all, we moved on towards the living thing and non-living things. So, I explained you what is living and what is non-living things. Even the characteristics, I asked you certain characteristics to keep it in your mind, so that you can easily differentiate between the living things and non-living things. Then we understood that various living things, different living things have different aspects of move. So, we understood that living things move that different way, how they move, like birds move with their wings, fishes moves with their gills, and plants which cannot move from one place to another though, but they can at least move on their own at the same place, because they have the roots fixed at one place. So, they cannot move, but they have the movement. So, then we understood what is non-living things. So, we will again continue from here. Though we have understood this, we will continue from here, so that those who have not watched the lecture or for any reason if they have missed out the lecture, they will be able to cope up with the lectures. So, let us get started. I hope that you are having your textbook by now, you are having your rough book in your hand, and you are all set, all ready. So, let us get started. Now, non-living things such as books, toys and chairs do not move on their own. They move only when someone moves them. That means, non-living things cannot move on their own, like human beings, like any other creatures. Non-living things need the force of the living things to move from one place to another. Now, students, here you can see the picture. I will bring it to you in the center so that you can see it clearly. You can see the picture of the boy playing with a toy car. Now, though the toy car has the wheel, it cannot move on its own, because it is a non-living thing. So, you can see that boy pushes the toy car and then it moves. This is how you even play. Either you push it now, but now it is a modern time. So you have the remote control car. But it is also kind of technical force you give it to the car, isn't it so? So that is what this picture shows you, that non-living objects, non-living things needs the force, certain force to move. It cannot move on its own. Further, we moved on towards the topic of living things grow. We even have done this. So let me bring a picture to you. This is the picture we have already discussed about. If you can see on your screen that a child grows into an adult. This is the process. Now this growth is shown in the human being. A child becomes elder in the age, and then it becomes an adult. So this way human beings grow. Gradually it happens. Whereas in the second picture you can see that here a seeds grow into a plant. Now we saw the growth of human being. Now this is the growth of the plant, the tree. We sow the seeds, it grows into the big plant and then bigger than it. So if it is a tree, it will grow at its full fledged like this in the size. So this was just a picture example for you to understand the growth of the living things. So till this we have done in our previous lecture. Now here it was clearly said that non-living things do not grow. Yes. Have you seen your pencil grows? Have you seen your eraser grows? Have you seen your school bag grows in the height or in the age? No, definitely no. It will not grow because it is a non-living thing. So in short, here it is written that non-living things do not grow. They do not grow either in the height or in the age unless any human or any outside action is put into consideration. Now students, moving on to the next topic, living things breathe. What is the next topic? Living things breathe. I hope you have the textbook with you. I request you, if you have the textbook, please keep it with you so that you can read along with me. So let's read and understand this topic. Living things breathe. All living things need air to breathe. We breathe through our nose. Several other animals breathe through their noses too. Cockroaches, butterflies and mosquitoes breathe through their air holes in their body. Plants breathe through their tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. So this is very important information for you students. So you can see that there is a difference between even the breathing technique. First you saw that how there is a difference in the movement. Then you saw how there is a difference in the growth. Now you can see how there is a difference in breathing, because every living thing needs air, oxygen or the other gases according to their importance for their growth. So obviously they are going to have any breathing techniques. So here it is said that all the living things need air to breathe. We breathe through our nose. Several other animals breathe through their noses too. Cockroaches, butterflies and mosquitoes breathe through their air holes in their body, and plants breathe through their tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. So students, I want you to write down one point. If you have your rough book with you, like I said in the beginning of the lecture, that whenever I ask you at any point of time to note down certain things, you have to note it down. Though it will be given to you in the objectives or in the subjectives form, but still if you write it down along with me in the lecture, it will be easier for you then to remember later on. You don't have to just mug up it. You will be able to understand that point. So please hold your pencil in your rough book. Just you can give the heading chapter 6 science. Okay, I'll write it for you. You can give the heading chapter 6 and then you can write science. So temporarily I have written for you. This way you can just give the heading. I have written on the screen for you to understand how can you give the heading. You can give this heading chapter 6 science and you can put today's date please write it down as quickly as possible so that you will be able to understand that. Chapter 6 Science, please give this heading and give today's date also. Don't forget to write today's date. Okay, now let's just erase this. So, I hope you have given the heading Chapter 6 Science. Now, please write this point. I will read it 2 times for you, and I hope that in the while time you will write it down in your books. So, let me just read it, and I hope that you have started writing it. Okay. Plants breathe through their tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. I will read it again. Please write it down as quickly as possible. Plants breathe through tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. I hope you are writing it down, students, and I hope you will send each and every work done in the lecture to your teachers. Plants breathe through their tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. So, this is how the plants breathe. They breathe from the stomata, like we have the noses from where we breathe. Similarly, plants don't have nose. Have you seen plants having nose? No, obviously plants do not have nose. So, they are not human beings, but though they are not human beings, they are the living things. So, they must be having the object from the place from where they breathe. So, it is called stomata from where they breathe. It is of very much important for you scientifically, even for the general knowledge, you should know this. So, now you can see 2 pictures here in the of the textbook in front of you on the screen. Human beings breathe through their nose. So, this nose now you all know, and you don't have to look for the nose, everyone has the nose, correct? And this is stomata. Plants breathe through stomata. Now, it is very tiny. From your naked eyes you cannot see on the leaves how the stomata looks. So, it is magnified here. Still I will zoom in for you. Okay. So, this is how the stomata looks from the magnifying glasses or from the microscope, you can say, because from your normal naked eyes you cannot see how the stomata looks. You can just see these leaves, but you cannot see the stomata. So, it is clearly depicted from the diagram how stomata looks, and this is the object. This is called the nose of the plants. Yes. So, everything, growth of branches, leaves, flowers depends on these leaves. Even this is just the knowledge for you that even the food for the plants are prepared by the green leaves. So, I hope now you know what is stomata. I don't have to explain you what is nose. You all have nose on your face. So, this is how the plants breathe, this is how the human beings breathe, and for the insects it is clearly written that cockroaches, butterflies and the mosquitoes breathe through their air holes in their body. They have the air holes at the different part of the body, depends on the different insects. So, now here it is written, one small point it is written that non-living things do not breathe. Obviously, they do not grow, they do not eat, they do not breathe. So, whatever characteristics are there for the living things are not there. That means they are the absent in non-living things. So, non-living things do not breathe. Now, for example, if you are having mobile phone in your hand, it is non-living things. So, do you think that a mobile phone breathes? No, no ways. We cannot even think of that. So, it is very simple. I hope this much is very much clear to you, the breathing process, how living things breathe. Now, students, let us move on to the next topic on the page number 56 of your textbook. That means you have to simply turn your page. The activity present there, we will do it afterwards when it is time to solve the exercise and activity. Now, moving on to the next page, page number 56 of your textbook. If those who are having the textbook, I hope they are turning their pages. So, students, I hope that those who have the textbook, at least they are just reading from the textbook. I have displayed the textbook on the screen so that those who don't have textbook, they can just understand, and the line which is important for you, I can highlight it and I can show it to you. So I hope you are watching it very carefully and you are also reading with me. Now we saw how living things grow, how living things breathe, how they move. Now is the time to look onto the topic living things need food. Now every different creature have different food. That is what you have seen in the first, second chapter as well. So let's see what details are given here in this topic. Living things need food to grow. Food gives us energy to work and move. Now how can you work or how can you move? Obviously you need the food at certain time interval. Some are very much foodie, so they eat 6 to 7 times in a day. Some are less concerned about the food, so they eat 2 or 3 times only, so and so on. So in short, at least once in 24 hours you need the food. It is called at least. So let's see how the food is differentiated in the different animals, human beings and so on. Animals eat plants or the flesh for the other animals as a food. So animals eat plants or the flesh of other animals as a food. Like you have seen in the previous few chapters, that there are the omnivores, there are carnivores, there are herbivores, different kinds of animals are there. Now herbivores only eats plants, carnivores only eats the flesh of other animals, whereas omnivores are such kind of animal which eats both plants as well as flesh. So different animals have different varieties of eating habits, but in short, in brief, it is written that animal eat plants or the flesh of other animals as a food. This is what you already know and very well you know it, even details you know about this. So you already know what is the food habit of animals, even you know the names like lion are carnivore, lion and tiger and all these animals are carnivores in the category, cow, buffalo, and they are all herbivores. We human beings are omnivores, we eat flesh as well as we eat the plants and vegetables and different things. Now coming on to plants. Plants do not need to go in search of food. They make their own food in the presence of air, water and sunlight. Light means here sunlight. So plants make their own food. Like I said, when I was explaining you stomata, I also said that green leaves are the ones who prepare the food for the plants. Now plants do not go in the search of food. That means we human beings water the plants, but have you seen that human beings providing pizza or pasta, anything eatables to the plants? No, it is not possible. We do not provide the eatables to the plants. That is what they themselves make for entire plant. We can pour the water in the plants, correct? So here you can see the picture that this is what human beings can do. We can water, we can just provide the manure and proper moisture, we can take care of the plant, but we cannot provide them the food. Food is made by the plants themselves. So the process of making the food of the plants is called photosynthesis. So green leaves can prepare the food for the plant by using air, water and sunlight. So that process of making the food by the green leaves is called photosynthesis. And here one small point again is written that non-living things do not need food. So first you saw that non-living things do not grow, non-living things do not breathe. Now non-living things do not need the food because they do not grow. So like I said, whatever characteristics are present in the living things are absent in the non-living things. It's clear, as simple as that. So I hope this is very much clear to you students, and I hope that you don't have doubts any further in this topic, how living things need food, how they grow, how they breathe. These all are very simple, easy if you try to understand this and if you pay a very careful attention to the lecture. Now students, moving on to living things feel changes. Yes, living things feel changes. So let's see what kind of changes do we feel, as we are also living things. So let's read and understand that. We can feel changes around us such as hot and cold weather. In the same way, animals and plants can also feel changes around them. Now, you all know that according to the climatic changes, we even sometimes we fall sick, we sometimes feel healthy, we sometimes feel unhealthy. So it depends on all the climate around us. So we feel changes, our body feel changes and reacts accordingly. Some can bear the cold, some can bear the hot climate. It depends on the body type. Now here it is clearly written, we can feel changes around us as hot and cold. Obviously, as per the climatic changes, even if you can see that if you touch the hot water, immediately you will remove your finger out of that water. If you touch the intense cold water, again you will remove your hand out. So your brain, your skin, your body temperature, everything reacts on the cold and a hot weather as well as the hot and cold things. In the same way, animals and plants also can feel the changes around them. So let's see how they can feel the changes. Animals. Now I'll just zoom in for you on the screen. So most animals feel or sense changes around them with the help of their sense organs, that is, eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell, tongue to taste, and skin to touch. So animals such as cockroach, grasshopper and butterfly have special body part called antenna. Yes, this is not the antenna of TV, students. This is the antenna they have on their heads that help them to feel the changes around them. Let us read this paragraph again and understand it more precisely. Now it is said that most animals feel or sense the changes around them with the help of their sense organs. Even we as a human beings, we have the sense organ. Don't we have? Yes, we have. We have two eyes to see all the things around us. We have two ears to listen all the things around us. Even nose. So when you enter the house, you say, "Oh mom, something delicious is being cooked in the kitchen." So you can smell the things. You have the tongue. So when you eat the delicious food, you say, "Oh yum, it is very tasty." So this happens because of tongue. And then you have the skin. So like I said, if you touch anything hot or very cold, you immediately can feel it. So this is all possible because of the skin. So these all things even animals have. But few special animals like cockroach, grasshopper. Now here in the picture it is shown that how they have the antenna. So this is the antenna. It is very well labeled. Even those who have the textbook, they will be able to see it. So this is grasshopper, and I hope that 90% of the students might have seen this insect. So this is their antenna. They can feel the changes through the antenna. Just imagine. So every different living organism has their different specialities. So this is how even the cockroaches have. Now I hope that, and I know that all of you know what the cockroach is, and all of you might have seen the cockroaches many times in their life. So they even have this antenna if you have seen the cockroaches. Moving on to plants also feel changes around them. For example, mimosa, that is touch me not plant, feels a touch. So like I have shown you already that if you touch that plant, it closes itself. That is mimosa, touch me not plant. So it can feel the change, right? Only when the human touches it, it closes itself, right? A lotus flower opens out at the sunrise and closes at night. This is also a kind of change. Even you can see that sometimes if you have heard about the sunflower. So students, sunflower is also known for moving its head towards the sun. So wherever whatever the position of sun is, sunflower moves accordingly. So even the flowers can move, even they can feel the changes. Like here in this point it is said that plants can also feel the light and grow towards it. So this is the just the kind of definition or explanation given for the sunflower. Non-living things do not feel changes, as simple as that. So here in this part what have we seen? We saw that how animals feel changes. In that two partitions were there. Few animals have as same sense organs as human beings have, like eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, whereas few insects and animals like grasshopper, cockroaches, butterfly, they have the antenna on the top of their head to feel the changes all around. Even the snake is said to be having the tongue which feels the changes. Yes, you might have seen snakes taking out their tongue again and again. So that is just to smell different things. They smell even from their tongue. Similarly, for the plants you can see that one example is touch me not plant. If you touch that plant, it closes itself. One example I gave you is of sunflower, it moves towards the direction of its light. One example is lotus flower, it opens up at the sunrise and closes at the night when the sun sets down. So these are the few examples how the plants and animals can feel the changes around them like a human being, because they are also the living thing. Now, like as usual, non-living things do not feel changes. So like I said, whatever characteristics are there for the living thing are not there for the non-living thing. Okay, non-living thing cannot grow, non-living thing cannot eat, non-living things cannot feel the changes, they cannot move on their own. So I hope these topics are very much clear to you in your mind, and I hope that you have watched this lecture carefully. Okay, so my dear students, I hope that this much lesson. Now today what have we studied? We studied again living things move, we revised that topic, we revised the topic of living things grow, we then headed towards the living things breathe, the topic, the heading, and then we understood how living things need food. So every different living things have the different food habits, in which animals food habit you have already been familiar with, and then we saw how living thing feels changes. So for today I'll keep it till here. In the next lecture we will continue with living things reproduce, that is the last point in your textbook, and then we will carry on with our keywords and exercises. So I hope you have watched today's lecture very carefully, and that if you have any doubt you will read it again and again. You are even free to ask me between 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, so that your doubts will be solved. I hope that you will watch the lectures regularly and you will do the work regularly, whether it is a reading or writing work. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching the lecture, and keep sending the work to the teachers so that we can even upload your thoughts, we can upload the good writing pages, and whatever good work you have done, even if it is a good presentation, we will be able to upload that with your names. So I hope you will keep sending your work to the teachers. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves and of your family member too. Have a nice day.